What's up, everybody? It's Tiffany Gaines, host of the Seekers podcast. Lots of action happening this time of year. I love this time of year because it's baseball playoffs. I get to support my Astros. It is basketball preseason. I get to support my Rockets. And it is getting into the peak of the NFL season. I get to root against the Cowboys. I try to root for my Texans, but living in Seattle, we just don't get Texan games much, but I do keep up with the stats and I support them from afar. But in the meantime, who else do I root for in football? I don't know. I don't really have a team that I root for in football. I guess I'm just kind of a hometown homer. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, this is how checked out I am. I live in Seattle and I never think about the Seahawks as being my home team. I do root for the Seahawks though. But I guess it shows you what kind of fair weather fan I am. I'm not a true Seattleite. Good Lord. With regard to sports, anyway. I got to do something about that. Glossed all over the fact that I am, I guess, a Seahawk fan. So I'll be rooting for the Seahawks. But today I will be rooting against the Cowboys as they play the 49ers. But it's a great time of year because all of the heavy hitter sports are back in season. And I think hockey is even starting up, but I don't watch hockey. But we do have the Seattle Kraken. I don't watch them either. Pray for me. But it's a great time to be a sports fan because you get to dig in and get a little bit of everything. And then I'm back into college football this year. You know, obviously with Colorado and Deion Sanders, I've been more checked into that. I was salty yesterday that the game was not on TV, but I see that they pulled out the win. Deion Sanders was not happy during his press conference. It does not seem like they played really well, but Shador was managing his flex in the end zone. I guess the fans had it coming. I'm gonna ride with Shador. Whatever you gave them on that wristwatch, they had it coming. I have no idea. But congrats to the Buffaloes for getting back in the win column. But today is football day. But I just appreciate this time of year because I get lots of sports topics to be in on the sports show topics, unless you're watching Undisputed, where it's going to be mostly cowboy heavy. The sports shows start to get some diversity in conversation. They're not just trying to fake it until they make it, trying to fake it until the fall, because that's when peak conversational pieces happen. Outside of NBA free agency, it's the summer. It's just dull for sports talk. You got to wait on some hot gossip. But I'm glad it's the fall and we are back in peak sport season. So some hot sports topics that I am paying attention to. Apparently James Harden is still delusional. He still thinks he is in the heyday of his Rockets time, his time in Houston, where where he owned the city, and any and everything he did, the city loved. I've never been a James Harden fan. Never been a James Harden fan. He made our offense, the Rockets offense, too one dimensional. It was easy to expose during the playoffs. James Harden was the hero during the regular season. And then all of a sudden, the playoffs, people started saying, well, he can't do it by himself. Well, no, he did it by himself during the regular season. He was a scoring champion during the regular season. That's the way he wanted it during the regular season. Now, in the playoffs, the team is supposed to get a different DNA, a different identity, and all of a sudden become something that they've not been for 82 games. Now, we're supposed to adopt a different identity in the playoffs when he, the hero, can't get it done? No, that was just the wrong agenda. The Rockets sold themselves for regular season success and just hoped that it would work out in the playoffs. But logistically, it was never practical because it made it easy. Okay, opposing coaches, hey, stop James Harden, double team him, and they ain't got nobody else. You know, so it never worked out. And I suppose that was the reason he farted his way out of Houston to Brooklyn. I guess maybe he was delusional enough. He bought into his own hype and thought that he could, transition that one dimensional dribble step back three, or left side drive to the basket. Maybe he thought that he can transition that into playoff success and be who? Michael Jordan never won by himself. Be who? Who did James Harden think he was going to be in the playoffs? I just never understood that. You can see the frown on my face. It drove me bananas. So now he is trying to fart. He's dating his old girlfriend, dating Daryl Morey now in Philadelphia. And now the relationship has really gotten bad. The sweet days of Houston where Daryl Morey was rubbing his beard and, giving him all access to the strip clubs and things like that. I guess all of those days are over with now. She's a liar. Daryl Morey is a liar, and you want a divorce. Well, James, you didn't sign a prenup when you got into this relationship. Now you're stuck until Daryl Morey, I don't mean Daryl Morey is a she, really. I'm just using a metaphor, their relationship. You're kind of stuck, James, until she decides she don't want to be with you anymore. Yeah, you just kind of have to wait it out. You can't fart your way out of Philadelphia. And then the lack of awareness that superstars have. Nowadays, behavior, if you are a winless superstar, I don't know that the times are still such that owners and even social media are covering the sins of these stars. Once you have decided that you are going to be a farter, a clown, they're not riding for you like that, and you're not winning. James Harden, you've not been a winner. Regular season awards matter not in the postseason. And so now you're kind of an unaware, I guess, still superstar. I mean, I think his name still carries. His game does not carry as much as his name, and he's aging. I'm sure he would be a great fit with Joel in Philadelphia. Stay there, sir. Work that out and win. Win. Get your stock back through winning. But you were just not the dude that you used to be. You done farted your way out of 2.5 cities. Hang out there with Joel. Bring Joel a title. He needs some help. He's a great player. Get a championship in Philadelphia. I don't know why you wanted to leave a city that just laid down for you like that. I never got the impression that winning was that important to him anyway, but I'm not saying it wasn't. That is just my impression. I'm not saying that he does not care about winning. That is just how I envisioned him because he just never really changed his game to incorporate a number two. So, whatever. So we got that drama brewing. This is why it's my favorite time of year. Now I get all my sports takes back. Now I get more hot gossip. Now I get more entertainment during the season. The Cowboys are cowboying, now today is the 49ers and the Cowboys. And Lord, can we imagine how obnoxious Skip is going to be if the Cowboys win? Can we imagine how obnoxious Richard Sherman is going to be if the 49ers win? I don't know what I want to see more. Do I want to see Skip and Michael Irvin go crazy? Or do I want to see Richard Sherman go crazy? I don't know. It's going to be a tough day for whoever loses that game. Undisputed is going to be obnoxious tomorrow. Man, I had to edit that out, man. I went on a sneeze attack. Woo. So yeah, Undisputed is gonna be a hot take either way. First things first, my other favorite show is gonna be a hot mess because if Brock Purdy beats the Dallas Cowboys, Nick Wright has not bought into Brock Purdy. Every time Kevin Wiles and Broussard champion this man, he just has a hard stance on Brock Purdy. So if Brock Purdy beats the Dallas Cowboys, what's Nick Wright gonna say? This is just a great time of year. Lots of hot gossip, and not even necessarily about the games. Sometimes it's about the games. I mean, for me, it's about Cowboy fans crashing and burning. And, 49er fans are not obnoxious, but the Cowboy base, I mean, that cult group of Cowboy fanning, those of us who are not Cowboy fans or not Cowboy fans because their fans are obnoxious. And I said it, whatever. But yeah, so it's just going to be a messy day of sports tomorrow, a messy day. I think a lot of it riding on Cowboy 49er turnout. Sports shows, Stephen A. Smith is going to act a fool if the Cowboys lose. So yeah. And then we got baseball playoffs. The Astros are back in the playoffs. Hometown Homer here. Hometown Homer. I'm rooting for the Astros, though it is still my third favorite sport. I just don't watch baseball. I think the season is just, why is it 162 games? It is just, that's a lot of watching. That's a lot of watching. And so I watch baseball during the playoffs. It's just kind of a feel. October baseball is a feel. It's kind of like the cool breeze of the fall season coming up, and it just kind of goes right with baseball playoffs. So, and plus, you know, there's nothing like a playoff baseball crowds. I don't know if you pay attention to regular season baseball games, and the crowds are much more casual. Not that they're not into the game, especially if it's a close game at the in the bottom of the ninth, and the eighth inning, and your team is down or your team is up, and you just kind of gritting your teeth. But baseball playoffs is stressful. I mean, stressful. Like I sit there intense. I'm rigid, especially if it's a one-run game or a tied game. There is something about the eruption of a crowd at a playoff baseball game that I love. It's just kind of like, I don't know, it's chilling. It's like next level. It's better than I think it's better than the football crowd. I think an NBA game crowd is pretty exciting too, but there's just something about baseball playoff fans that I love. And it's like they've waited 162 games to get to this one moment to just let all of their fandom come out. And so I love baseball playoffs. I love watching the crowds regardless of who's playing. And even if it's against my Astros, the excitement of the fan is it's just kind of fall chilling. It's just kind of a crisp fall feeling. So I love fall sports action. And so yeah, so today's Sunday, and we got a lot of sports action going on. And so yeah, and then we got Laker talk. Why the Lakers and the Nuggets have this sort of nonsensical, I guess, beef going on. It's silly that Denver would be talking about the team that they beat. I don't get it, right? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get that. But clearly, um, them beating LeBron was pretty big. I mean, obviously, anybody beating LeBron, that's a feather in your cap. But Mike Malone, move on. Stop talking about that. I mean, the fact that the coach is even acknowledging that it's even a piece for conversation. The fact that LeBron during his vacation and off season was addressing it, through his cryptic commentary. I just didn't understand that. I mean, nobody dislikes Denver. How can you dislike Denver? I mean, I don't dislike Denver. I'm a LeBron fan, whatever team LeBron's on. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron fan, but I'm not going to dislike Denver because they've got this quote unquote beef. How can you have beef with Denver? The city does not, Denver and beef. No. The Denver Nuggets and beef. Who has beef with the Denver Nuggets? That's like being mad at white bread. How are you mad at white bread? It's just kind of unassuming. It's just bread. You don't like it, you don't like it, you don't like it. But you're not mad at the fact that people are eating white bread. That's poppy seed or the everything bread or the everything bagel. That's busy. That can be a lot of noise. There's a lot of taste in your mouth. But Denver, why is Denver trying to create commentary and make themselves relevant? They got the NBA championship. You got the best player in the league on your team. That should be enough. I don't think the Lakers were drumming up conversation about them, but for whatever reason, Mike Malone, and maybe it was through sports commentators, making something about nothing when LeBron said that he was about to retire. I mean, the man was winded. He was wiped. He had just lost. Why wouldn't he think about that? He's 39, 38, 39 years old. Why wouldn't he think about that? It's not like it was an unusual thought to contemplate retirement, though most of us knew that that would never happen, but he was in his emotions. And so what, he said it. So what, he said it. What's the big deal? But I just thought it was just kind of silly that there was conversation about the Nuggets and the Lakers, or conversation about the Nuggets, including the coach and LeBron James. I just didn't get that. I was just like, this is silly, and why are we even talking about it? Whatever. But it's a great time of year. It's a great time of year, James Harden, to pick up a book on awareness and see where you are. See if the clothes that you're wearing are a little too tight. Maybe you're not the same size you were in high school. Maybe try to adjust the waistline in some of your clothing. Do something different. Let's try to make this relationship work. You've been divorced 2 previous times. Nobody likes a guy who just hops from relationship to relationship. And now you done went back to your old girlfriend, but this still counts as a third relationship. You broke up with her when you went to Brooklyn, right? You broke up with her, and then you got her back when you're in Philadelphia. So, one relationship Houston, two relationship Brooklyn, third relationship Philadelphia. Make that thing work out. Because the one thing that sports teams are showing, they are not tolerating foolishness just because you're a superstar and a winless superstar. A winless superstar. They don't have to deal with that anymore. Ja Morant learned that lesson. 25 games. Yeah. I just don't think this day and age of sponsors and social media, the league has to be around for its next star, not just you. You are not the only star. You are just one star during this particular day and age and time. And be thankful for that. But, sir, get in line and play. All right? Play this season out and do something different. And so, yeah, that's my tidbit on James Harden and the Cowboys and the 49ers. That's going to be, and I'm so glad it's on national television. Again, I don't know who I'm going to root. I'm not rooting for the Cowboys, but I'm not rooting for the Cowboys, but do I want to see Skip be obnoxious or Richard Sherman be obnoxious? Nick Wright, do I want Nick Wright to be obnoxious or do I want Chris Broussard to give it to Nick Wright? It's just going to be a lot riding on tomorrow's results. And then the Colorado Buffaloes got back into the win column. Deion Sanders is still not happy. I didn't watch the game. They didn't want to give it to us, America, but whatever. So, yeah, what do we think about October sports and what do we think about James Harden, his antics, the Cowboys and the 49ers, outside of Cowboy fans being Cowboy fans? But what do we think about, you know, the Cowboys and the 49ers and the sports personalities take, you know? What do we think about the Cowboy 49er game? Anybody watching the baseball playoffs? I am. Do you think baseball crowds are electric? I do. Second favorite crowds. I think baseball crowds are electric. But yeah. Anyway, Tiffany Gaines, host of the Secrets podcast. Please like, please subscribe. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate everybody's support. Thank you.